In my daily life, I have no access to outside news. I don't watch TV. We don't have a TV in the Pure Land Society here. All the TVs are broadcast internally. There is no antenna outside, so we can't receive outside messages. We don't listen to the radio or read newspapers. Some students told me that in the past 1 or 2 months, they have seen on TV that the Antarctic ice sheet has melted. This problem is quite serious. If the ice at the North and South Poles melts, the water level of the sea will rise, and all coastal cities around the world will sink to the bottom of the sea. Where did the disaster come from? Some people always think that this is a natural disaster, and there is no way around it. Scientists have pushed this matter as a natural disaster, all blame nature. This is not the view in Buddhism. According to Buddhism, all disasters are caused by ourselves. Who caused it? Not other people, but ourselves. Can you believe this? If you believe it, then congratulations, you are enlightened. If you don't believe it, you decide not to admit it, you are not enlightened. Indeed, it is created by ourselves. If everyone can realize it, and if everyone can reform their mistakes, this disaster will be eliminated. Where did the flood come from? Greedy. Among the students here, I think many of you have read the Sutra. The Buddha made it very clear at the Shurangama assembly: greed is water, anger is fire, and ignorance is wind. The 3 greater calamities are fire, water, and wind. If people all over the world are desperately increasing greed, hatred, and ignorance, and the growth is accelerating, the 3 phenomena of water, fire, and wind will arise in this world. The environment is the dependent condition or material environment, and the dependent condition follows the direct retribution. And the direct retribution is our mind. The Buddha always advises us to put an end to greed, hatred, and ignorance. Everyone can put an end to greed, hatred, and ignorance. The ecological environment on this earth will soon return to normal, and there will be no such disasters. In addition to greed and hatred, there is also arrogance, greed, hatred, and ignorance. What is the retribution of conceit? It's an earthquake. Conceit is high and low mind, not average. Where do these natural disasters come from? Is from what the mind attracts and what the mind manifests. The Buddha taught us these principles and methods in the scriptures, which can indeed eliminate all disasters. Eliminate from where? They are all eliminated from the mind. Buddhism is called internal learning, which uses internal strength to change the external environment. So we are respectful to people, things, and objects. Even if we can't help the public can't turn it around, and I can turn it around alone. Will it work? Works. I turn around and call it differentiated karma, and the public is called collective retribution. The Buddha told us at the Shurangama assembly that the retribution of collective karma is different from that of differentiated karma. If your differentiated karma is superior, even in the worst collective karma, you can still avoid it. In the catastrophe, there are still many lucky people. This is due to differentiated karma not the same. A person who is immune to a catastrophe, if you observe carefully, that person has a kind heart, less greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance, and more compassion and benevolence. It is decided that be this kind of person. So how can we not read this sutra? How can we not seek a deep understanding? And how can we not follow the teachings? I hope that our students, at all times and in all places, will cultivate all respect with sincerity, purity, equality, and compassion. We must develop this into a habit, which is called true cultivation and hard work. True hard work is not about how many sutras you read a day. If you recite 10 or 20 volumes of the Infinite Life Sutra a day, if your thoughts, words and deeds do not correspond to what is said in the sutras, if you read 200 times a day, it's useless and unusable. Long ago, the old layman Li Bingnan said, "No matter how depraved, you still have to fall like that to no avail." If you want to work hard, read the scriptures every day to check your own mistakes. Reading the scriptures is like looking in a mirror. I made a mistake myself one day without even knowing it. The scripture had just read it, compared it briefly, and discovered, "Oh, here Buddha taught us not to do, today we do it again. Here the Buddha taught us to do, today we can't do it." And all the faults came out. Therefore, scriptures are a mirror, which should be used every day to reflect one's own faults and quickly correct them, and then it will work, and this will have boundless benefits. Therefore, we must cultivate sincerity and treat people with sincerity, and we will be able to survive the catastrophe. Before the catastrophe, without the slightest thought of fear, without the slightest fear, accept it very freely and calmly, then you have Kung Fu and you will really benefit from it.